is going on, everyone? Welcome to Brothers by Law. I am Josh.
I'm Ryan.
And last week we did like a little bit of like an intro episode, I'd guess, just to kind of get you. Everyone knows the sound of my voice by this point, and everyone kind of knows me, but they don't really know Ryan. So that was kind of the idea of last week. And yes, I still did talk a lot, Mags, but I don't really give a fuck, to be completely honest, because I've got to fill air at this point. So this week is, now we can kind of just go.
We can go wherever we want.
Yeah, because we kind of just want this to feel as conversational as possible, if you get me.
Yeah.
So we were like, what do we talk about? What are we going to do? We always have that. We literally say we're going to record it this time, and then I get a message from Ryan that says,
I ain't coming. No, it's always about what are we going to talk about? Or we probably spend a whole day trying to come up with something.
Because we want to make it as interesting as possible. And then I've been kind of, as soon as we even talked about this show, I've wanted to do conspiracy theories. Not because I'm really, like, necessarily one to be like, I love conspiracy theories, or I believe in all these conspiracy theories. I just find them fascinating.
That's 100% me.
Yeah,
I love them, I believe in them.
So, the idea of doing we're going to focus on a few conspiracy theories, which we'll talk about in a minute, but we do have a guest here. We talked about her last week. Everyone, my sister, Ryan's fiance, it is my sister Shai-Lee. So, hi.
Hello.
This is the first time Shai-Lee's ever done podcasting. She's not one to really, I don't know, it's just not your thing necessarily.
Talk publicly.
Yeah, not really your thing to do. However, the idea with doing conspiracy theories is the fact that you believe in a lot of... Well, the ones that you believe in...
I believe in.
Yeah, you believe in hardcore. So we're going to discuss some of those soon. But I guess you guys are a full brain in this one as compared to me. But you guys are kind of...
I've spent hours on researching conspiracy theories.
Why are you so... What draws you to a conspiracy theory? Because I don't know. We were talking about conspiracy theories. We've been talking for the last couple of hours about different things. And I'm always like, I don't know. I don't really believe that.
Because it turns something into, let's say, Tupac died, but then it's what if? And then that what if can turn into something that could seem true. So it's like, okay, what about if this is true and Tupac really is alive, just living his life somewhere else? But then, and then from there, you're like, okay, what else can stupid people come up with that could possibly be true? Which most conspiracy theories do turn out to be true.
Well, so, I don't know about that.
There are a lot that have actually come out to be true. So then it then leaves up to that idea. All the ones that haven't been proven yet, could they be true? And then it goes on and keeps on building, and then
what draws I've never known you to be someone that's so into conspiracy theories.
Oh, I'm into conspiracy theories. If Shane Dawson does a video about it, then I'm all in. Tupac is alive, by the way.
Well, we can discuss that in a minute. We've got 3 ones. I guess this will be conspiracy theories in parentheses part 1. I guess I'm sure we can leave this open. We're purposely not going through a bunch of them in this episode.
There's always new conspiracy theories every day. People come up with crazy ideas of something that could be, or
it's so weird to think about. We're going to focus on some lighthearted ones and some heavier ones, kind of in the same. But there's so many. If you just type in conspiracy theories in Google, I mean, the world is your oyster, I guess.
Yeah, they're everywhere. It's about anything, everything. There's no limit to what people are coming up with theories about. It's always going to be something new.
Yeah, I mean, but even growing up, you weren't someone... It's not until later years that you've gotten into them, right?
No, not really. A few years ago. Got stuck on the internet at about 3 a.m.
That old rabbit hole on Google or YouTube and I think the reason I don't necessarily not that I don't like them. They're fascinating, but the reason I'm so like reluctant is because some of them genuinely freak me out, and it's
Because
kind of like,
how real they could be.
yeah, and I've never been one to be like, I don't like being scared.
Yeah, but that's what gets me hooked, is because I then think, like, it's mostly with videos. I don't so much read, I watch videos and like people will explain it in depth, and that's what gets me like, okay, you got me. Now I'm starting to believe this, and that's when I go on to research and I start to look up more things, and I get trapped into it, and I just spent hours, days, years, months, everything. I'm just all on this one thing, and then I'll just stop, forget about it, and then that's it.
Yeah, it's
just a big circle.
yeah, it's like a giant cycle that you can get really locked in, and it is really, again, it's just really fascinating to hear that kind of stuff. Now, Shai-Lee's going to be kind of like our fact checker, and she's got a few articles when we go through. There's one in particular, which I guess we'll start with because why not, that Shai-Lee has been trying to hammer into my brain for the last few years. Okay, so there's this conspiracy theory about Avril Lavigne. And basically, the conspiracy theory is that Avril Lavigne died in like 2003, 2004. She committed suicide, and she now has someone playing her essentially, acting out her life, her double.
She
to make
does.
Well, we've all got to
dead.
talk. We've got to talk here in complete assumptions because it's not proven true. I read this article top to bottom in preparation for this just a few hours ago before you come to my house to record this, and it was translated from Portuguese, so there was a lot of like errors. But I read through it all, and again, when I brought it up to you, Shai-Lee, before I was like, yo, you've always said to me, you don't even assume, you downright believe this.
I believe that she is dead.
I understand why people... So, basically, before we get into our opinions on this, have you got an article there that can kind of summarize at least something about... Or what? You probably know more about me than it. Before opinions come in, what is the kind of general summary of this theory?
Pretty much, she got a doppelganger, right? And she, like, went into this, like, spiraling depression and then killed herself, and then the other Avril was now Avril Lavigne. But, like, she's dead. Like, she isn't actually alive. But, like, whatever. But there's, like, proof. There's, like, photos of, like, birthmarks that are in different spots. Her height's changed. She's a different person.
The height thing is what gets me. I guess that's the general gist of it is that Avril was in some form of a deep depression, and her record label, her manager, basically said, we're in the middle of releasing a second album. Because you remember in 2002, I mean, Avril Lavigne...
She was huge.
Like, she was probably, debatably, the biggest female singer in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was hardcore.
Yeah.
So, basically, she was in a deep depression. Her label was like, we don't want to lose money. We already had this double that... A lot of pop stars... This isn't a theory. This is just straight fact. A lot of celebrities use doubles as decoys so they can get into buildings and they can do what they need to do without being mobbed. So that's not unusual to have a double. So that I believe. But basically they convinced this lady, I believe her name's Melissa, to be her double and live Avril's celebrity life. This is... Okay, Ryan, I can see, is looking at me and he's just, like, waiting. So before I get into any more opinions of my own on it, I'll let yous two just kind of take the lead.
Okay, well, with this Avril Lavigne theory, I haven't looked into it too much. I knew that about it, like she died, there was a doppelganger, but I didn't know the like full depth and detail until, well, Shai-Lee explained it to me and I heard bits from you. But the article you did read, at any point did you then start to believe that it was true? Did it hook you?
Yes and no. My problem is that I believe, like, it wasn't that I wasn't believing it, it was that at every point of these theories, of every section, I was going, but that could easily just be this. So pictures, for example. Okay, so, you know, they're saying like her nose changed and just different features changed. There is surgeries that make all of that possible. Even moving moles, there is, this is, I guess this is playing devil's advocate here, but there is ways you can alter your looks. Any of us could technically do
that's
it.
the whole point of a theory. It comes back to that what if. Yeah, it could be what if she did get a surgery, but what if it is a doppelganger? And then that's when you start to get stuck into that rabbit hole, and then you would then want to find out that fine detail to find out which answer it is. And that's where you get stuck. And that's why conspiracy theories that's why I love them. Because you just get stuck into them and you don't know why, but you need to find out these answers that are just clawing at you. I hate them.
It is weird. Again, it's so fascinating just to do this. When did you, Shai-Lee, first find out about this? Were you just on the internet?
First time I found out about the Avril one was a Shane Dawson video. I don't know when that was, but like he just like briefly explained it, and I feel like with a conspiracy theory, you either believe it or you don't.
Yeah.
There's no like in between, and the deeper you read, the more you believe it.
Yeah.
And I've read a lot about this one, and I think that's why I've convinced myself.
Every time an Avril Lavigne song comes on, you're like, she's not alive. It doesn't make you like her any less or any more.
I don't love Avril Lavigne, honestly. Couldn't care less about her.
It's more
That's
so...
why she believes that she's dead.
I don't want the girl dead. I just believe she is dead.
It's more so the fact that you really... What is if you had to pick one theory within this theory that makes you believe it, what exactly? Is it the looks?
I don't think it is the looks, because I can see the similarities in the old pictures and the new ones.
And that's not unusual though.
No.
Because lots of celebrities do that.
Yeah.
I don't know. The more I read into it, the more I believed it. Just like with how her music changed so drastically and she couldn't hit notes anymore.
See that, but even that, like, a lot of people from their 20s to their 30s and 40s can't hit notes the same anymore. It's not like she has a completely different voice. She doesn't. But again, I'm just playing devil's advocate. The more I read into it, like you said, the more I want to believe it. But then some of it is so like surely that would not happen. Sure, she didn't commit suicide, and then some other person is now Avril, and they've gone about it for this long. The things within it, though, there is believable elements. Like, her grandpa, there was little facts about her grandpa dying, and if you just search literally Avril Lavigne dead ? On Google, you will find so much shit. And again, it is just really fascinating to wander on into it. But, so I'm guessing majority here, but you both believe that she's dead?
100%.
She in the ground.
Yeah.
Well, maybe not.
She dead.
You don't have to go on the ground to be dead. But I believe she's dead.
She dust in the air.
Well, maybe. I don't know.
She's dead.
She's a patch of dirt on the
record
water.
labels are crazy. I think they would have covered up her death to make
Is it
more
the
money.
record label or is it her manager?
Could have been both.
Or was it Nickelback?
No, it was not Nickelback.
Well, that was way later that she married
He could
Nickelback.
have known about it.
He married the fake one.
Allegedly. This is all in alleged talk here, guys. We're not
Lighthearted.
We're not professionals. We're just... I'm gonna just to be different, I'm gonna say that's the original Avril Lavigne until proven otherwise. But I'm willing to listen at least. 2 months ago, if you told me this, I would be like, she's alive. But the more I read into it, the more I'm like, it's possible.
That's the thing. You never read into it before. You were
no,
just like, no, that's
but
crazy.
You never explained it to me.
The more
couldn't
far-fetched,
accept
the
it.
better. The crazier it is, the more I believe it. It might not make sense, but I think it's true.
Okay, that's fair. So 2 for she's not alive, 1 for it's the original.
So you lose.
Well,
Yeah.
I
So
guess
you
if
can
we're
leave
playing
now.
majority, yeah.
We are now taking this podcast.
We are.
This
brothers
is half
by
of
law.
your podcast, you dickhead. So next thing, we'll let Ryan kind of take control because the last one will take majority of this podcast. But Ryan, let's talk about chemtrails.
Chemtrails. The government is making us all sick to sell their damn medicine. That's what it is. Those little, when you look up in the sky and you see a plane and that little trail falling behind it, the white trail, sometimes it is just because it's cold up there and that's just what it's shooting out. But when you see multiple of them in the sky, you know, the crisscrossing, they're chemtrails. They're just shooting chemicals out into the air to poison all of us. Then we all get sick because everybody gets sick at the same time. It's not just one person gets sick and it spreads. Because, I mean, that could be. But that's not it. Because they're all making us sick, so we go out and we buy the goddamn medicines, then it goes into the economy, and then they make the damn money, and now the FBI is going to come to my house.
Okay.
I'm calling out the government.
Okay, let's hear from
Step
you
up
on
to
this.
my front door.
Let's hear from you on this, because I can see all the faces being pulled.
Oh, I don't believe this one.
You
This one's
witnessed it.
stupid. No, I witnessed a plane in the sky,
What,
which
like
is quite
40
normal.
of them?
No, I seen one plane. We were outside and we seen someone. He's like, they're poisoning
There
us.
was 3
You're
of
gonna
them
be sick
going
in
in
2
the
weeks.
one direction.
Guess who wasn't sick in 2 weeks? I wasn't. I didn't get sick.
Because you're sick all the time.
No, I didn't get sick.
Oh.
Chemtrails are not a thing. They're not a thing. They're planes in the sky. That's
Yeah.
it. They're not poisoning us.
Yes, they are.
No, they're not.
All right.
That's so
Okay,
make sense.
don't...
I need to fly up there and
Let
find
me...
them.
My turn here. That one, 100% is full of shit.
Look it
Yeah.
up.
I
I
have,
have.
and it's just
There's
not...
No.
There's nothing to me that... I get what you're saying. I can at least understand it, but there's just... Okay, so I don't want to stick on this for too long because it's everywhere at the moment, but coronavirus is everywhere in the world. Are you insinuating that is because of chemtrails?
No, that was a damn bat. No. These chemtrails just want us to buy Panadol because we get a headache.
So it's not chemical enough to kill us.
No,
it's
just
just
to
chemical enough to make us
sick.
inconveniently sick.
Sick to go out and buy medicine, and then we put our money into the economy, and government makes money off of us being sick.
I'll believe Avril is dead any day over chemtrails.
And guess what killed her? Chemtrails.
No, apparently it was
suicide.
herself. It was suicide.
Made her sick.
No,
she was
chemtrails aren't a
depressed.
thing.
I don't-
Case closed.
Being sick is germs and stuff like that. It's not stuff coming out of the sky.
And it, like the spreading thing, that's from human to human contact.
yeah.
I'm sorry,
No.
I'm not believing this one. I'm just you do you, and I can understand the logic behind it because there is some government things that I believe, but that is not one of them.
If I go missing tomorrow, you know I'm right. I did just challenge the government,
Oh, well.
so they're listening.
I'm sure the government are really listening to this, aren't they?
Bring it on, Scott Morrison.
ScoMo. That, for anyone listening that's not in Australia, that's our Australian Prime Minister. No hate. We don't talk politics here because people can vote for who they want to. But Scott Morrison. ScoMo. As
Great bloke.
I mean, ScoMo, why has that become a thing? I don't... Australians...
Because we
He's
shorten the
terrible.
name.
Australians...
They shorten
will-
everything.
Yeah.
They shorten. The Rona is... That's what's going around lately. Well,
Yeah.
literally. But, so, the thing that we're going to kind of really dive right into is the Mandela Effect. I wouldn't necessarily call the Mandela Effect a conspiracy theory. Personally, I wouldn't call it that.
Do you know how it started or how it became a conspiracy theory?
Enlighten me.
So it all started with Nelson Mandela. He went to prison, and in prison, like he was in prison for, I can't remember how long it was, but there was like a majority of the world thought that he died in prison. They were convinced that he was dead. They heard about it, they were convinced, they seen it apparently on the news, and then after a couple of years after that or so, he was released. Thus, everybody that thought he died in prison were like, hang on, what's going on? My guy should be dead, but he's alive now. And then they tried to go on the internet to like look this up, like, did Nelson Mandela die? They couldn't find a single thing about it. There was nothing, but they were all convinced that it happened. And then from there on, other things in similar started to happen, to misspelling of stuff, or for instance, the Monopoly Man, people they could swear up and down that he would wear a monocle, the little one lens that would sit on your eye, but he doesn't wear it, and thus comes the Mandela Effect. So he started off more of a conspiracy theory, like conspiracy that he died but he was alive, then turned into more of an effect, something that like deja vu.
It's like a domino effect.
Yeah.
So pretty much what it is that the universe is slipping in between parallel universes.
Yeah.
So there's parallel universes, and our universe that we're in is slipping between those, and that's where people's memories are getting jumbled up, and they're remembering one thing that might have happened in a parallel universe, but it didn't happen in this universe.
Right.
But it's so convincing, and so like, no, like you'll be like, no, I remember that this way, but it actually wasn't that way when you go back.
Yeah, it's like, okay, so that's basically that's basically the theory behind it, I guess. But we'll jump right into some of these Mandela effects. I don't know what you'd say. Like, the biggest one for me, other than Monopoly Man, because he definitely had
A monocle.
he
he
definitely
He got
had
2020 vision. He didn't need one.
that. He didn't need one. The Star Wars one is something that I will just
that one
be like,
hurts me.
I'm like, it's everywhere that it's Luke, I am your father. But in the actual scene in the movie, he says, no, I am your father. But on cards, on any quotation, on
Shirts.
anything Star Wars related, it's Luke, I am your father. But he never said Luke. He said no.
I can remember it.
I can visualize it.
Yeah, I can hear it in my head. But now my childhood is a lie, and I just want to curl up into a ball.
It's so weird. Like, that was the one when I started, a few years ago, like, looking into the Mandela Effect and what that actually means. And it is time for, of course, everybody to talk the fact everyone loves Giddy on Twitter now. She is here to kind of say
Giddy?
hello.
Oh,
Yeah, you
Ryan
probably
doesn't
definitely. She's not a fan of Ryan. But is what it is. Anyway, Mandela Effect. So a few years ago, I started to really look in after seeing the Star Wars one, which just kind of threw me through a loop.
Yeah.
It was like, whoa.
Like when I first found out about the Mandela Effect, and I'd seen there were ones that weren't, like the Star Wars one hadn't been found out yet, but I'd seen that other people were, at the time I thought, getting tricked into all these thoughts, and then I was kind of like laughing at them, and then I seen the Star Wars one, and then I experienced it myself, and that's when I got thrown into this loop, and it spun me out.
Yeah, it really bugs me out. So Shai-Lee's got an article on her phone to basically go through. So at your own pace, we'll just kind of discuss them. Just pick out some ones until we kind of are done with it.
I'll pick the ones that get me, because first one is Pikachu's tail. It's like, I don't know about you, but I remember Pikachu's tail having a black end on it.
Yeah, it's like a lightning bolt.
Yeah, it
with
was
a black
yellow
end.
and it went black at the end.
Yeah.
But it wasn't. It was yellow. There was no black on it at all.
What
I have
the
a photo
heck?
to show you.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Did you?
This one didn't get me only because
You watched
I've
Pokemon, though.
watched Pokemon and played Pokemon my entire life, so I've always known Pikachu not to have that. But I guess if I wasn't on,
No,
I mean, even
see,
if I
I've
wasn't,
always pictured Pikachu with the black bit on his.
So am
Yeah.
I.
Is her is a boy.
either his or her.
Is
Or
it- oh,
if you're
is he-
referring to the
Oh.
to the animated series one, like Ash's Pikachu, I'm pretty sure that's a boy.
Wow, truly
Pikachu-
ahead of its time.
Pokemons don't have genders, do they?
Yeah, they do.
Very
Why does
2020.
Pikachu not?
Pikachu does.
No, but you said that it's either.
Actually, the way to tell between the Pikachu genders, each Pokemon with the different genders has a slightly different detail.
There's multiple versions of Pikachu.
Yeah, so a female Pikachu, its tail is actually a love heart.
I thought
Where
there was only
a
one
male-
kind of
A
Pokemon.
male Pikachu
Like-
has the square tail like that.
Oh, the more you know.
Well, there you go. So yeah, I thought it had a black bit.
Yeah,
Okay.
so did I.
The Curious George one was something that
yeah.
I
That
just...
that one got me.
Like, Curious George doesn't have a tail.
Yeah. I always thought that Curious George had a tail.
Me too. I can't say that I was the biggest Curious George fan when I was a
No.
kid, but he definitely had a tail.
I think what's gotten me with that one is because he's a monkey, so I just picture a
He
tail.
has a
on him.
tail. Monkeys
Yeah.
have monkeys do have they have tails. So why doesn't
Yeah.
Curious George?
He's
I don't know.
He's curious to find his tail.
One that got me but didn't get you was the Looney Tunes one.
Yeah, that one didn't get me. It's basically it should be Looney Tunes,
Tunes,
like a
cartoon.
cartoon.
Yeah.
But it's Looney Tunes, like like a tune, like a song. I always kind of knew that, but I could see why that would get some people. The Kit Kat one you told me about
Yeah.
before. Kit Kat doesn't have,
A hyphen.
but it does.
I know. There's a photo with the hyphen edited and it looks way more natural than the one without it.
So I'll try and put these some of these in the graphic, but
That does look.
I could have
But just
sworn there was
search a
hyphen.
Kit Kat from wherever you are in the world. Apparently, it does not have a hyphen. But even though I thought it had a hyphen the whole time, like that's just crazy to me. What's some other ones you've got there?
Apparently there's one about a color. The color like chartreuse.
What the fuck kind of color is that?
Well, people recall it being a magenta pink color, but others say it's a shade of green.
I can't
So
say.
which one is it?
It's
Is it the
green.
green?
It's the green one, but people remember it being pink.
Chartreuse? Did you say?
Yeah.
I've never heard of that color. I'm more into like purple and red,
Yeah.
green. What's some more that you've got? You've just got like a giant.
The Queen one.
Oh,
The
go
We
ahead.
Are the Champions one.
Oh yeah.
Everyone thinks that the song ends with the line of the world. It was like kind of iconic, but
But it does.
it actually
Phoebe
doesn't.
says it in Friends.
Yeah.
So.
Yes.
Everyone believes that it's there, and if you ever sing it and it gets to the end, everyone says it, but it doesn't actually say it in the song.
Phoebe said it though, and then
Yeah.
that's the episode, the one where Monica sings and everyone sees her boobs.
Yeah.
That is that episode of Friends. But yeah, so it ends with "We are the champions," but it goes dun dun of the world.
Yeah.
It's the world. Because you're champion of the world. No, Freddie is wrong.
People remember Leonardo DiCaprio winning an Oscar before he did. I don't.
No, I didn't.
I
I'd always
didn't.
I
cheered him
can't
on.
say that I followed Leonardo DiCaprio's career. To be
Yeah.
honest, I
I
wanted
did.
to unpack this for a minute. I've never watched Titanic.
That's ridiculous.
You need to die.
Oh
You
wow.
need to watch Titanic.
Calm down.
Go watch
Great
it.
movie though. Great
I've
song.
seen
for-
I've seen the scene. Oh,
You have
I
to
know
see
the
it
song's a
once.
banger.
Yeah.
You just have to watch it once.
It just doesn't seem like my kind of jam. I'll watch other movies that I like Mean Girls or Drop Dead Fred. You'll
Great
agree, yeah,
movie.
you'll agree with me on that.
Yes, it was a great movie.
But yeah, he won an Oscar in 2016, but people remember him winning it before that. I don't.
He was.
I don't get that one. I'm sure someone out there listening to this will probably be like,
Yeah.
"What he did?" But that was probably like a little outdated now.
really.
But
He won it.
There's a lot of like food related ones
oh,
that
and
are
it's
like American.
Sex in the City is
Yeah.
sex
and the
and the
city.
city, not Sex in the City.
Mm.
Because you
That
just
one-
say Sex in the City, so it
Yeah.
sounds.
Yeah. And there was I actually remember getting like a perfume set that said Sex in the City. But it's Sex and the City. I remember it specifically. There's a photo of the exact same one that I got.
That's crazy. More Mandela Effect stuff that is just kind of. Do you have any on the top of your brain, Ryan, that you're like, that just always gets me?
Oh, hang on. Yeah,
See?
it's there.
That's the photo.
So this is back to the sex in the
Says
city.
That is weird.
Yeah.
What's some more that, or Ryan or Shai-Lee, whoever wants to chime in with some more Mandela Effect things?
There was so many.
There is heaps.
Like trying to think of one off the top of my head, I'm
I
struggling.
think the biggest one was the Berenstain Bears books. I don't know if they were around in Australia, but I never read them. But
Yeah, I
pretty
never read them
much
either.
people remember it being spelt with an A, as like the Berenstain Bears,
Yeah.
but it's actually spelt with an E.
Oh, the Flintstones one too. That's like
yeah.
that one. It's the
Mm.
Flint Stones. but we say Flintstones because we're just used to saying Flintstones.
But
I
that's
say a lot of
also
words wrong.
because Australians are lazy with
Yeah, we're
talking,
lazy as
so-
fuck. And I'm lazy as fuck. I always say words wrong, but it doesn't really bother me. I always say words wrong.
C3PO having a silver leg, I thought he was all gold.
But see, I don't think even like saying that C3PO in the latest trilogy of Star Wars has all gold.
Well, that's what I thought.
In the
Yeah.
Disney trilogy, he definitely has all. Well, I think he does. At least in the Rise of Skywalker,
I
he
don't know
does.
why. I remember him having a silver arm in one of the later ones.
I remember C3PO not being all that gold. He was like a pale gold, like almost like a
If he has
silvery
a silver
gold.
leg, I'm leaving.
Well, I thought he was anyway.
But he's gold there.
He's all gold.
But then silver there, so I don't know.
Maybe it's the lighting.
It's not something that
Wow,
you
he's
really
not
pay attention
photogenic.
to, though. You know what I mean?
Well, he's
He
not
just
really.
makes the same face.
Oh, I guess it's kind of. It's not
Oh,
silver.
it's not so much silver. You can tell it's a little,
I
it's
mean,
a little different.
Well,
If that's what they
but
call
no,
silver.
because remember he was made in the Phantom Menace by Kid Anakin when Anakin was a
Oh,
kid.
yeah.
Maybe there's something to do with that. Like
Maybe.
Anakin couldn't put him together properly or something. Like he had no parts that were
useless.
gold. Anakin wasn't useless, to be completely
as a
honest.
child. No, he was actually.
Well, he kind of slayed in that movie a lot.
He did.
Everyone always
He
has
just
their
couldn't
opinion
build
on the
a
Phantom
robot.
Menace. I like that's like my second favorite Star Wars now, but
It's gonna be someone's favorite. It can't.
it was
be hated by
mine
the
for,
world.
until the Rise of Skywalker. So
I get people like, oh, it's the worst one, or that's a
You don't
crappy
hate
one.
it.
I like them all.
yeah, I don't
like it.
hate any stuff except
I
Attack of
like
the Clones. I
Star
kind of
Wars
hate.
as a story, not like, oh, this is my favorite. This is my
It
favorite.
all works together.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're a Star Wars person, aren't you?
I like Star Wars.
You don't live
don't
and
go
die
out of
by
my
it.
way
Yeah,
to watch
you don't
it.
live and die by it. While we're kind of thinking of some more conspiracy theories, this is of course mainly a wrestling network. And it'd be kind of silly not to at least mention the fact that WrestleMania, is like a week and a bit away by the time this drops. So,
Have fun.
I'm way above the wrestling fandom than used to are, but used did attend all the super showdown stories that I have is with these two. They went to Super Showdown with me, and it was a good time.
It was good.
It was
I'm
great.
pretty sure that if it did something like that again, they would probably go again because it was pretty
Yeah.
out of this
Yeah.
world.
Mm.
But WrestleMania is like a week and a half away. It's a little different this year.
A little.
With no
think
fans.
that-
Wrestling with no fans is... I don't think it's bad. You just haven't watched any wrestling without no fans. They don't watch on the
I watched a
week-to-week
little
basis.
bit.
I've watched clips here and there.
It's different. It is different, and it's going to be... The one thing that... Why I have Ryan here, why I have Shai-Lee here about WrestleMania is this year will be very unique.
I mean,
Bear none. It's two for
I
one,
would,
it's 2 days.
and I would say they're not going to do it again after this year.
I could see them doing more 2-day events. I really
no,
could.
but like with no fans and
Well,
You
the
don't
problem. The reason I'm not complaining about it mainly is because there's literally nothing. It's out of everybody's hands. So it's either this or nothing.
I'm a little bit disappointed I won't see a beach ball.
They don't let that happen anyway in WWE anymore.
Vince
That's how
comes
much
out with a
Ryan
beach
watches. Everyone's gonna laugh at you for that comment because that's how much he watches on a week-to-week basis. But it's certainly put a different feel on it. I'm still excited, but it's a different level of excitement. But yeah,
I've seen that Brock might not be able to make it. There might be some travel issues.
well, who really knows what's
So
going to
he'll have
happen
to-
between the time this... So many things will change
Yeah.
by the time this drop. We're recording this like 3 or 4 days before this drops, so many things. The world is like rapidly changing. But anyway, back to conspiracy theories. Enough about WrestleMania. Have you got any more listed conspiracy Mandela Effect or conspiracy theories that you've got in your brain? You've probably watched lots on those Shane Dawson
Oh,
videos.
there's so many.
I'm not a Shane Dawson fan.
Was that Britney Spears one that you were talking about?
The Britney Spears one is the fact that she was on the payroll of the former United States President George Bush. Apparently, so all the scandals and that went on within the Bush administration basically was Britney Spears was strategically placed to have some kind of another scandal of her own to basically be a distraction for what was going on within the administration. And it is really weird. There's, again, just search this on Google, but everything kind of happened at a certain time, and she even filed from divorce with Kevin Federline a few weeks before the election to, again, defer everything. And, like, because George Bush was 8 years, so he couldn't be re-elected, and it's like, that ended that scandal there. Like that. And then Britney kind of, you know, she still had scandals after that, but not like, well, she's in a bit of a scandal at the moment, but nothing like, you know, peak crazy Britney.
No.
It was in that whole term of his, all the facts do line up in that one.
Yeah.
I don't know how much I believe it. The government ones are more likely to get me than anything else, because sometimes I think the government, not all the time, I'm not saying this in general, but the government can be evil, I think. I think personally, but that's just my personal opinion on that. Have you got any others on the top of your brain as we kind of go along here?
Reptilian people.
Oh, you've also got one too that we can talk about in a minute. So we'll talk about reptilian people, because I know basically nothing of it. Used to seem to think that Katy Perry's one.
Justin Bieber is one.
Explain reptilian people.
They also go by shapeshifters. If that's more what it's more commonly known as. But in the theory is that all higher powers, like presidents, prime ministers, any like leaders, any actors, like big actors, they're all shapeshifters. They're all reptilian people that have they've come from, you know, outer space to pretty much run this world without us knowing it. And I know it's pretty big.
I'm listening. I'm just trying to grasp
I know. You see your face, you're like, ooh. I thought of it at first. This is one of them big ones that you really got to research into and look into deep. But there's a lot of like videos out there as well of there'd be like news reporters or of just celebrities, which I believe it's just a camera fault, like with the recording, but it shows like their eyes doing like funny things, like hell whacked out stuff, like spinning out or changing color or even eye shape. And there's ones of Justin Bieber. There's mostly it's news reporters, but yeah, it's massive. It's kind of scary.
What are they though? Are they humans?
Like alien,
like humanoid, blood sucking, Grammy winning, election winning reptilian people.
No, but what I'm trying to understand is that, like, do you know what is the difference between a human and one of these? Because they look like humans.
They're reptiles. That's probably the difference.
They're just built to look like humans.
Yeah, they shapeshifted into looking like one of us to blend in.
Yeah,
but they've been around for thousands and thousands and thousands of years.
What's the point of them?
Take over the world,
yeah,
probably.
Just conquer another world. But instead of like throwing us into a frenzy or war, just shapeshifted to a higher power, like a president and whatnot, and just run it from up there. Because obviously we're not going to go against that higher power.
No.
Yeah, people like Justin Bieber or Katy Perry, they have a lot of power.
That's
in
true.
Music over young and older people.
Yeah,
that's true. I don't know. That one I don't really have any opinion on, because I don't know enough about it.
Like, if your network gets bigger, then I'll start to believe that you're a shapeshifter.
Yeah.
And I'll probably have to eliminate you. I'm sorry, but it will happen.
Oh well, I've had a good run, so that's fine by me. Something that I just found fascinating, before we talk about Shai-Lee's main conspiracy theory that she really wants me to know about, you're going to have to explain that to me, but this is just something funny. Lorde is apparently 40 years old, and I just find it hilarious. Like, Lorde, the New Zealand singer, is apparently, she's a 40-something-year-old woman, but is pretending to be 20 so she can be, like, hip and cool. But then you look at pictures of her and you're like, you're definitely 46 years old. Like, you are a 46-year-old woman. So I'll just throw that in there. There's literally nothing else to it other than she looks like an old woman. Or middle-aged woman, I should say. Okay, let's talk about something way deeper. Shai-Lee is going to explain everything about this one, because I don't know enough, but it's creepy, and so if you're prone to scary things, or, I mean, maybe don't listen.
I guess watching videos of it is scarier, because you see, like, pictures of them. But I don't know if it's so much a conspiracy theory, or, like, just, like, a legend, you know?
Either.
But black-eyed children. I'm going to read, like, the description that I found. So black-eyed children are an American contemporary legend of supposed paranormal creatures that supposedly resemble children between the ages of 6 and 16 with pale skin and black eyes who are reportedly seen hitchhiking or panhandling or are encountered on doorsteps of residential homes. So pretty much they try and persuade you to help them, but, like, I mean, I don't really know what they're trying to do. I guess kill people. I'm not sure.
I know what I'm trying to do. If I open up my door to a black-eyed child, they have my word, I'll punt them into the stars.
So
they will be gone.
Are they, like, humans? They're real people.
Well, they're like a paranormal,
like a demonic, I guess.
thing.
But they're
creepy.
They're living. They're not like a figment of your imagination, or
No, they're like actual children. Like, they're scary.
Creepy, because kids are creepy. Like,
yeah, already.
Yeah,
like The
kids
Shining with
the twins.
the twins.
But there's a lot of stories that people put on Reddit. Like, obviously not everyone tells the truth on Reddit, but
no. Take Reddit. Take everything we say today with a grain of salt.
Yeah. A lot of people write about, like, their encounters with them. Some people were sitting in their cars and they'll come and knock on the window and they'll, like, ask you for help.
But that's like saying, like, black-eyed children, you're like, for complete lack of any other thing, you believe in them, yes?
I do, but also I'm a little skeptical on, like, paranormal stuff anyway.
So, but isn't that like people, like, you could say you believe in that? Isn't that like people believing in ghosts?
Yeah. I believe in ghosts.
I believe in ghosts too.
I'm open-minded about all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I don't think I personally don't recall ever having an experience with a ghost, but I could definitely see it happening.
I've had an experience with ghosts.
Do tell.
I lived in a haunted house where it had stairs, and
that's like so cliche, isn't it?
I know, but there was one night I remember. It was late at night. Whole family. I was still living. I was a kid. Everybody was asleep. It was really quiet, and our stairs just out of nowhere just started creaking, like as somebody was coming up. Now, I don't really get scared of that kind of stuff, so I was kind of stupid, and I went to investigate. And as I got up to the stairs, as I was getting up to the stairs, there was like a wall leading to the stairs, and I poked my head around because the noise got closer. And as I poked my head around, there was nothing, absolutely nothing there. And then I went back to bed, went to sleep. And
I wouldn't be able to sleep with that kind of shit. Because there's lots of stories about, like, people being in bed and they're at the foot of their bed. Some people claim that, like, not all ghosts are bad. Like, some of them aren't trying to haunt you, they're trying to comfort you.
Yeah.
And a lot of them are, like, dead relatives and dead friends, and that are trying to come back to be like, I'm fine. Or, like, basically, that's what they're trying to do. I don't recall ever having an experience with a ghost.
I don't think I've ever had, like, a specific ghost experience. I used to wake up at the exact same time in, like, dead hour every night. And then, I don't know if this was true or not, but I heard from someone that if you put a pair of your shoes at the end of the bed, like, facing outwards, it, like, makes them go away. And I mean, I stopped waking up at that time every night.
Do you know what's really weird?
It was, like, 3:44 every
I
night.
see I wake up 4:34, and then in the afternoon, I'm not even trying, I always see the numbers 4:34, and it's weird.
Yeah.
And people think it's wrestling related because of CM Punk. Everyone's like, you're just seeing that and you're noticing that time because you know those numbers from, and it's just making you think of that. But I see it on my phone. If I, like, I'm not even kidding. Sometimes I'll be laying in bed, I'll wake up, and I'll be awake for a few minutes before I look at my phone, and it'll always be that time. It's never not that time that I see. Nearly verbatim every day, I see it in the morning, and I see it in the afternoon. And I said it to my brother. I was like, dude, I see this time every single day. I could just take my phone out of my pocket. I'm not trying to do it. Like, I could be at work and I'm like, what's the time? And I always see 434. And I don't know why I see those numbers. But you know what's really weird though? So that was happening for months. Like a month period where I didn't see it was where Punk came back on Backstage. And obviously no one knew that was, like, it wasn't announced. I seen it. I did, that number was coming up, that come on, I didn't see that number again for ages. And then in the last, maybe since like January, I've seen that number every single day.
That's weird.
I believe it.
That wasn't even a story that I even thought to tell, but that's just like come to my brain. I see that number. I think maybe I've said it to you.
I don't think you have.
Oh, I've said it to Dylan,
That's
definitely. But I see that number like nearly every day, if not every day. At least, I always see it in the morning. But it's so weird that I take out my phone or PlayStation and I'll like, what's the time? 434.
Yeah.
Why do I see that number?
It's weirder that you see it all the time in the morning because, like, who's awake at that?
It's not like I'm awake.
know?
I'm never awake for work at that time.
But even after, like,
It's
it's
like-
such a random number, like 434. That's like,
And it's like
to get that
people,
precise
whenever
every time.
I brought it up, people are like, you obviously, maybe it's something to do with childhood, it's nostalgic numbers, so it makes you remember that number as opposed to seeing every other number. But it's so bizarre that I see it so frequently, and it stopped.
Well, when it first started happening, did you think of Punk, or is it just...
Well, that was when I first mentioned it to Dylan, like 8 or 9 months ago. He was like, that's Punk's number for his reign as champion. And I was like, yeah, I know. I see it, and I see that number all the time, and I don't know why. But it's not like you know when you look at your phone, and we're all wrestling nerds, so you see 316, and you're like, fuck yeah. It doesn't make me feel like, oh, CM Punk. It's just like, why am I seeing this number all the
You
time?
don't associate that number with CM Punk. You just see it all the time.
I do and I don't.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's weird that the day he come back on Backstage, I stopped seeing that number for a hot minute.
Yeah.
For maybe a month or so. And then it come back. And now I still see it. I've seen it this morning.
Maybe you have powers of prediction in the future, and that's how. It's through real-life objects. Or time.
I don't know. Like, in all seriousness, I really don't understand it.
That's like, though, I don't know if you ever have this. Like, you'll be out, like down the main street or whatever, and you'll see someone, and you think it's someone, but it's not them. And then, like, a minute later, you'll see the person that you thought it was. That always happens to me.
Yeah, you know,
I
it's
don't know
like,
why.
but that's like the thing of like, you know, when like someone buys a new car and you see that car everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it
Shai-Lee's
your
car.
brain?
I remember that.
When you've got your
My
your
car.
car for the
I've
first...
seen them everywhere.
Yeah.
I had never seen them
And you've
before
never
around
seen them
here.
before.
Yeah, that always happens with people. I see someone, I'm like, oh, that's that person. It's like, oh, no, that's not them. And then I'll see that person that I thought it was, like,
Is that?
a minute later.
That's not the Mandela Effect.
No,
That's different.
that's
yeah.
a glitch in the Matrix.
Is it though? Like, not a
100%.
joke.
This is
Yeah.
a
Like, is it-
simulation.
But it, like, weirds me out because it happens all the time.
See, I'm not really one, not spiritually, I guess it has something to do with that and stuff, but with numbers and some people are into that. I'm not necessarily not into it, but I couldn't say that I'm like, something that we should do when Shai-Lee, Shai-Lee could either be here every week or never again. That's
I
really,
could be on for like 10 months in a row and then I'll just disappear.
because it's just dependent on whether she wants to. But something that Shai-Lee has kind of divulged your time into is reading tarot cards, is because there's something to do.
Yeah.
And our grandma and Nana is very into that, but it is, maybe that's something we could do. We could try and figure out a way to do it on a podcast. I'm not sure if it'd probably be pretty easy to do.
Probably.
But anyway, I don't know if people are into that kind of stuff. We're kind of going everywhere here, but seeing numbers and seeing people and I don't know.
tarot cards are very number related.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
why
Maybe I
they're,
should try
they're
and
very
work out.
spiritual and not everyone believes in them. I believe in them just
I
because
believe in them. I believe to a degree.
I think
Because I think it's a little bit of like, you know how when you get a reading of some kind, they're like, what do you want to talk about? Is it just you're looking for that answer? So
I don't know, because I've done readings for myself and I've had them done for me where I won't even tell them what I want to talk about. I just say, like, I just want a reading about anything that comes up. And it will come up very accurate and it kind of freaks me out.
yeah, some things do that to me though.
Yeah.
I would say I'm more of a spiritual person, like an astrology and stuff like
Yeah.
that. I probably lean
Like
into
the
that.
numbers and everything, I believe really heavily in that. Like everyone is like a certain number based on their birthday. Or
Yeah.
like every year is a certain number.
Yeah, I believe in that kind of stuff. And I probably lean more, well, I do. I lean more into like astrology and spirituality than I do religion.
Yeah.
We're not, us three are not religious people.
No.
Not that we don't believe there's something. We
No.
all, I think we all.
I'm always open-minded to everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, me
But-
too for that. Not terrorism or anything like that. But like,
Yeah.
I'm not open-minded
I'm
to
open-minded.
everything.
I don't believe that there's necessarily like a god. I believe there's like a higher power. I don't really know what
It's
it
Vince
is.
McMahon. He said, he revealed it. It's me, Austin. He's the higher power. Oh, son of a bitch.
But like I think everyone believes in something, but it's not necessarily God or a religion. You cannot be religious but still believe that there's some
I
form
wouldn't call
of God.
myself an atheist though,
No.
because I don't believe
I'm
that there's
open-minded
nothing.
to
Yeah,
it.
whatever. But I definitely lean into the spiritual
Yeah.
side more. Not even fully,
Mm.
but at least more. If I had to put a label on it, but
Yeah.
I'm not religious. We were never grown up religious. You didn't either,
Yeah.
did you?
For a
little
little
bit.
bit, my mum was a Jehovah's Witness, and I
Oh.
kind of got dragged into that a little bit, but not anymore.
Coming up soon, we need to have a nice discussion about Scientology.
Oh,
Did you
God.
watch that series that I
I
got?
watched most of it. I didn't get to
Yeah.
finish it though because the website messed up and I couldn't find where I was up to.
Well,
It's
we,
very
we
good.
got we watched
It's
a
very
lot
good.
of it, like the
That's
gist of it all.
that's a topic for a different episode because that'll take a long time to really break down Scientology, but
It's messed up.
it is messed up. But we've kind of gone everywhere here with conspiracy and all different kinds of stuff. Anything else you want to add before we take this home?
No, I can't think of anything.
Can't think of anything else. We might do. This is like part 1 of ...
I actually have thought of something, and this is something that we've been needing to do for a long time, but it's got to be a video on your YouTube channel, and that is we have got to continue our rivalry on GM mode.
Oh, I was thinking about that today. I was actually like, I need to do GM mode.
Yeah,
We need to do that on Josh Plays because I've got a lot of time on my hand. over
and
the next 2
also
weeks.
I am currently the reigning champion.
Years ago,
1-0.
we did GM mode on 2000 SmackDown
Okay.
vs. Raw 2007.
Yeah,
but that's a topic for a different day. We'll get to that
yeah,
at
get
some
keen
stage.
for that one.
I think we also need to do part 2 of Josh cooking
Everyone wants that.
because it was
Yeah.
great.
Bring
Do you know what the
that
problem
back.
is? That we can't fucking buy anything at the moment because everyone's bought everything.
So true.
So you can't get your ingredients. You can't even buy
Great
pasta
video.
sauce.
That was a great video.
So
Everyone
we-
loved that video.
Yeah, it was my
What's
great editing skills.
It was good editing.
Yeah.
Although I will say the Hot Ones had good editing with the Iconics
That's
in
true.
it. We'll do some more stuff. Like I said,
You cooking's a hot mess. I
yeah,
think that's
fuck
why
yeah, it
people
is.
liked it.
I can make
Yeah.
one thing, and it's simple stuff. I can make simple. I'm not like completely
You
useless.
can make things from a jar.
Yeah, or I can. No, I did make that one time that banging mac and cheese.
Yeah, but my mac and cheese is kind of better.
Yeah, well,
I'll just eat anything.
That's true.
we talked about that last week.
Yeah.
Yikes. Alrighty, everyone. We're going to wrap this up. We don't know. Pending, Shai-Lee might be here next week, but we really don't know. We'll
knows?
definitely be here, Ryan.
I might not be.
Maybe
be sick
I'll
that
take
day.
Ryan's place and we'll be brothers by law.
That's
All right.
honestly fucked
I'm-
up. That is
And I
so
just-
fucking weird.
I got
Yeah.
fired on my second day.
Yep.
Alright, well,
I haven't listened to the first one yet, so
Shai-Lee won't fucking listen to it.
Yeah,
She doesn't give a
no.
fuck.
I was told that you spoke about me, so I might just
Yes,
skip to that
and-
part.
No, we're talking about you. The fact, basically, if we were to have you on here, we're going to talk about music because you're very different.
Yeah.
We're all very different with
I'm a
music.
music guru. I have
Oh.
the best taste in music here.
See, that sounds like something between you two because
No, we'll probably get into a full. No, we don't argue about music.
that's
No.
even better. Like a debate. On
we
who's the
don't.
best.
We don't debate about
I'll
music.
be
We,
the
we kind of
judge.
come to a common
Yeah.
ground for the most part. We have
I agree,
differences.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think my music taste is more large. I have a
Although, but
wider
Ryan
range.
said the same thing to me. He said, the last couple of years, I've grown with music.
Yeah. You have.
Like, and Ryan just likes Black Veil Brides.
Hell yeah.
It's like 14-year-old Ryan.
Yeah, straight up sad but happy.
So yeah, go follow Black Veil Brides on Twitter at Black Veil Brides. I'm sure. I don't know if it's
I
a
might double
if
check
it's a
that.
follow.
Fact check that.
If
Do you
if it
follow
isn't,
No.
we're giving at Black Veil Brides some real, hype.
Yeah, they owe us
I'd
now.
assume it would be.
They are
Yeah,
at Black Veil
go follow
Brides.
at
There we-
Black Veil Brides. How did we get here?
Good on you guys.
They
Still
have
going after all this time.
621.6k followers.
Oh, same. Yeah, same. Just a
I
little
have
off.
like
Ryan's
21.
closer.
Ryan's got none.
Ryan's got 20 followers.
Yeah, I think it's like 20.
All right, so everybody, this is plug time. Ryan, where can we find you on Twitter?
On Twitter. That's where you can find me on Twitter.
This
Wow.
bitch.
Do you not know your...
It's at plain _ Ryan.
Yes.
I'll do it.
See, I'm
See?
so lazy I get him to do it for
So
me.
people always say, you talk for 95% of this episode, Josh. There's a fucking reason, because this fucking...
I think that's
Ryan.
the reason I don't listen, honestly.
What, because of him?
Yeah, because he
Yeah.
talks a lot.
Fuck yeah. In the words of Mags, I could talk a glass eye to sleep.
Not wrong.
Shout out to Mags for being a complete dickhead. Your Twitter, you know yours.
You can follow me at _ hey it's Shay _
Yeah, that's not fair. You brought it up.
Yeah, I don't
She
remember
usually
it.
she'll retweet 3 things: wrestling to a certain degree, 21 Pilots to a bigger degree, and makeup. Mainly Jeffree
Jeffree
Star.
Star.
Yeah,
He's a queen.
yeah, he is. I watch Jeffree Star videos. I have no shame
Yeah.
in saying that because he's funny.
And really rich.
Yeah, and he's like,
So
fuck
You're like,
yeah,
what the
I'm
hell,
rich.
man?
I want to be rich.
Yeah. And he has like so many dogs and they're just running around living their best
Hey,
life.
drama.
They're like the richest dogs, honestly.
And you follow me at Josh Robinson 00.
Unfollow, you mean?
Oh,
Unfollow
man.
Josh.
Ryan's army of 20 followers will come out and get me. Oh no.
straight up.
All right, everybody. Until next week, this has been Brothers by Law. We'll catch you on the next one.